Welcome to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. It's your opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395-1450. That's 395-1450. And now, from De Bruyne Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the master gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
And good morning, everyone. A little bit of a humid day out there. If you've been outside, it is muggy out there. I couldn't believe when she said it was only 75. It must feel like it's 95 out there. But do be careful when you're out there. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Make sure you don't stay outside too long, especially if that sun comes out. It could be a really hot afternoon, although just that mugginess makes it feel really hot. All of your plants probably, well, we did have some rain last night, but I'll tell you, my tomatoes needed watering again this morning. So I think I've got my tomatoes in too sandy of soil, but they all needed watering this morning along with my peppers. Green beans were okay. My flowers and my herbs were all okay, but the strawberry or the tomatoes really needed it. So do go outside. Just check your plants. Not all of them may need water, but some of them just might. And if we get sunshine today, make sure to go out there again middle afternoon and check them again. Sometimes you need to do, especially if you've got stuff in pots, you might have to do it twice a day just to keep them well watered. So keep that in mind. We want to keep the things well watered. What we don't want to happen, especially with our tomatoes and peppers, is we don't want to keep them well watered and then, let them go and let them dry out for a day and then overwater them and then let them dry out. That really inhibits the calcium transmission up into the plant. So then you get blossom end rot. And that's the one thing we really don't want to happen. So make sure you keep an even moisture in the soil. I've got my tomatoes in pots, and I do have a mulch on top of them so they don't dry out quite as quickly. And I just take some that stringy peat moss. I just put that on top of my peppers and my tomatoes just to kind of keep the water in, and so it doesn't evaporate the second I put it down on my plants. And I do want I've been pretty good. Chipmunks have not been the bane of my existence until they decided I finally got some ginger to grow again. I love trying to grow ginger. I've got three things on a hand that are coming up. They're looking beautiful, and the chipmunk is digging them up. I am not sure why, but he is driving me insane with the ginger. I don't know what to do. I was thinking about putting a mouse trap that would snap on him, so he would keep away from digging in my. And he's not putting anything in; he's just digging. And there's always a pile of dirt on my front porch. And I can't put it on my back porch because that's too sunny. This needs to be in the shade. So I'm not quite sure what to do, how to get it out of the chipmunk's reach. He's driving me insane. I guess I'm going to have to capture him and relocate him. That would be a good thing. If you're having problems with the chipmunks and the gophers and the squirrels and everything else, so right now everybody is coming in with rabbit problems. That's been a huge one. The rabbits are eating all of their plants down, and they will. They're hungry too, and your plants are a good source of, food for them as well as some liquid, So, yes, they do love that. But you can there is, certain things, liquid fence, you can either apply it to the plant or you can put it around your plants to keep them away. There's other things also. There's Everguard. That's the newest thing out there. There's Plant Skid. that is basically um, blood meal. And when you spray that, it's red. It's kind of an odd thing, and it does stink. They won't come around it. But yes, so there's plenty of options out there if you've got the rabbit problem that everybody else does. A a good thing. Woodchucks, another thing that people are complaining about. You can put a fence around your garden. That's probably best. But for a woodchuck, especially, and a rabbit, you need to bury that fence in the ground for about a foot so they don't just burrow under it and pop up the other side. So you got to bury the fence in the ground. And then it's best if you can kind of put an electric fence wire just at about 4 to 6 inches up off the ground, and just enough that gets their nose, and they won't come near it again once they get hit by that. It's not it won't kill them. It just startles them. You can feel it for yourself. You won't like it, but it again it won't kill you, and it won't kill the dog if he decides to walk over there. But that does that works really well. Um, so yeah, the little bit of an electric fence, just a one wire around your garden, and a fence about 3 to 4 feet tall will help keep the critters out. Deer, I don't know what keeps them out of the garden. It's a good thing, fence, but it's got to be at least 6 feet tall. But even then, they can jump right over. If there's something on the other side that they want to get, they will. Um, and if it's a big enough area so they can jump into it, they will. If you've got a very small little garden and you've got a 6 foot, they're not going to jump in if it's a small garden. And you can always do other things also with it. Um, Birds hate snakes. Are petrified of snakes. Make a garden hose look like a snake in the garden. That always helps. Or, Matthew, when he was little, we got him this snake from, I don't know, some zoo that we visited. It must have been 3.5, 4 feet long. He used to scare his sister with that thing all the time. Um, it looked extremely real. Now, that would be the kind of snake to put outside in the garden, maybe kind of trailing up a fence post or something. That would keep away a lot of the little mammal type creatures and the birds. If you got woodpeckers pecking at your house, that's basically a mating type ritual. They shouldn't be doing it all the time, but if you want them to stop, there's always it's a little tape that you can hang from the the joists there and then hang it down, and it kind of flutters in the breeze. That's what you can do to keep them out. Or put a snake around there. They they don't want to go where there's a snake. Um, but yeah, the ribbons that are fluttering in the breeze are a good idea. You can try that. You can try, those great big owls that people have and put out. Now, those are fine, but they have to move. You can't just keep them in one spot. You got to keep moving them. And it's better if they kind of move a little bit with the wind so they're not so staticky. I see them in downtown Zealand. They're on the light post way up there. And the birds land on top of them because the birds are so used to them just sitting there. They're not doing anything. So, yeah, you got to keep moving them around. So it looks like, oh, these might be, something that is going to kill us. So that's always a good idea. I've got, the little birds at my house all of a sudden disappear when the hawks sit on the neighbor's roof. All of a sudden, the little birds are gone. Now, the mice are never that smart, but the little birds are all gone. So it's always nice when the hawks visit. We get rid of a lot of little vermin around. And I'm more than happy to give up my vermin to the hawks. I'm more than happy to give up my chipmunks to the hawks. they just drive me insane. Um, they try to get any bird seed that might fall down. I always think if that's for the ducks or that's for the rabbit. I've got one rabbit in my backyard, and that's okay. He doesn't seem to bother anything, so he's very, very timid. But yeah, not for the chipmunks. Not for the chipmunks. Neighbors all feed them. They don't need to eat anything at my house. I'm sorry. That's, you're not invited. That's one thing. I can always put out a trap for them. There are the easy set traps that you can put out there. Put a little peanut butter, maybe some bird seed on it. You'll get one very quickly. And then you can just take it over to the trash and just let it go. Or you can just take it over to the pond and you just dump it in the pond. That's what I usually do. Figure somebody will eat it in there. The I don't know, snapping turtle. Somebody just might like to eat that thing. The dead mice, etc., that are out there. But yes, there's all kinds of critters out there. Critters everywhere. So we do have things that you can do. If you've got swallows that are coming into the garage, I think we've got something there for that too. There are solutions for your pests that are out there, but you have to keep with it. They aren't something that you just do once and okay, that's it. But do keep up with it. Slugs right now, everyone's seeming to have slugs. This humid weather just really brings them out. They work at night, and you'll get the holes in your hostas, and you'll never see anybody eating. That's because they eat at night. So put out some slug bait, and the good part about slug bait is most of the stuff on the market now is very safe around your dog and cat. There used to be metaldehyde was in it, and oh my gosh, the dogs loved that stuff for some reason, and they would eat it up and they would die. So they don't use that stuff too much anymore. So if you have a dog, make sure you do use the safe one for the dogs. But it does work well for the slugs for in your yard. I'll tell you, ground up eggshells don't work. Diatomaceous earth really doesn't work. You really need to put down the slug bait. Sorry, but all those they've been tried. All of the little homeowner type things just don't work. So get the real stuff. It isn't expensive, and it will get rid of your slugs. You can try the beer. Put a saucer of beer, make sure it's deep enough that they can drown in it. And you put it so the lip of the saucer is even with the ground. And so they'll come crawling and they'll smell the yeast in there. They like the yeast. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a expensive beer. It can be near beer. It can be the cheapest beer out there, probably best because it's going to be more yeasty. And they will love that. You do have to change those every morning or, maybe mid-morning so they're all in there that are going home for the night. They can stop at the bar and, change it every morning and you'll be all set. We need to stop and listen to a few messages, but we'll be back right after this.
This is Eric Dame of ConnectingVets.com. Listen to Eye on Veterans every Saturday morning at 6 on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.
And we are back with the Garden Show here on WHTC. And I'm Jan Meeuwsen, and I'm here I can take your questions. The phone number is 616-395-1450. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. If you've got any questions, I'd be glad to help you out here. Since I'm not at work all the time anymore, you might have to call up here to get me. But yes, I've shown the guys how to identify most things. So yeah, hopefully they can help you if I'm not around, and I'm sure they can. They're excellent at that sort of thing. We've had a lot of people bring in soil samples, not quite sure why things aren't growing. Always a good thing to know where you are as far as your soil is. It's not going to tell you everything. It doesn't tell you the conditions around there from up above, but it will tell you what the soil is going on. We've had a lot of funky readings. We've had pHs from 8.5 to 4.1. I mean, that's a big difference in pHs that I have seen come in from people's soil tests recently. So might be a good idea to test your soil. If you haven't done it in a while, your garden isn't looking as good as you think it should, maybe you need to check on that soil sample. Might be a good idea. Just bring it over to DeBrian's. We need a good cup of soil, and it has to be from different areas around the garden or around the lawn. Usually on the lawn, they do from one from each corner and then a couple from the inside. Do it from where the roots of whatever you want to grow are growing. That's where the soil is. That is going to be what you want to know what it's about. So, mix it all up, bring it in, and we'll get it going for you. They give you a nice readout, and they'll even give you recommendations whether you want to do rhododendron bushes or whatever. They'll let you know what you need to do to get them to be their best. So not a bad idea to do it. A lot of people are doing their lawns right now, and a lot of field plots right now also, getting those ready so they can plant something later summer for the fall, for the deer hunting season. So yeah, they're right on the money here for getting everything set to go. So that's not a bad idea. So that's a good thing. Make sure that you are tying up your plants and your vines right now. This is a time when they grow like weeds, literally. Your tomatoes, my tomatoes are growing like weeds right now. Get them tied up, or get a cage around them, something, giving them some support is a good idea. Tie up your gladiola bulbs right now too. Sometimes they get a little too, in this weather, they can get a little top heavy and fall over. Make sure your vines like clematis are all nice and tied up for the summer, and you'll be all set. I mean, it does take a little getting to do it, but do get it done. And I know you have no idea how many people I have talked to that they are absolutely overwhelmed by weeds this year. And it's been a hot year. The weeds are out there. Oh, we do have a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Show. Oh, good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Show.
Yes, I wanted to ask you what we're doing wrong because we have absolutely no hummingbirds.
Oh, do you have red flowers around or lots of flowers?
No.
If you can get some flowers around there, that does help. And I don't care if it's just a couple of red geraniums. They do come to those. Okay. And you will get some hummingbirds.
Huh. Well, we've been waiting for more than a month and haven't seen any at all. Oh, maybe that's why.
Yeah, get a couple flowers out there. Get some pots with some flowers in them. And, and it doesn't have to be a fancy flower at all. Red or orange would probably be the best. But, again, any color. They'll come.
Okay, well, if you say so.
Yes, they will come.
But we have tried, and now he's finally taken down the hummingbird feeder, so of course we won't have them now at all. But do they still come by if we would put it back up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're always looking for a food source.
Well, we'll try that then.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, good luck.
Yeah, bye.
When I first wanted hummingbirds, I had my hummingbird feeder out there, I swear, 3 years before I ever saw a hummingbird by it. But I kept it up, And I actually tied a little red bandana on top of it, so the red was kind of flapping in the wind. They finally came, and once they came, they are always there. So you better be prepared that next year you're going to have that hummingbird feeder in the exact same place because they look for it. Don't move it down 3 feet. Don't do anything like that. They want it in that same place. My hummingbirds prefer it in a little shadier spot rather than full sun. And it's probably best in a little shadier spot. The full sun, especially days like today, can cause it to get a little cloudy, and then we have to change the nectar in there. So yeah, if you can pick a spot that's a little bit shadier, I've got a spot on my deck that's a little shadier in the afternoon, and they love that. So, and I do change the nectar quite often. I make a big pitcher of nectar, and then every couple of days I bring it in, clean out the feeder, and put new nectar in it, and then bring it outside again. Just like you don't keep your dog or cat's water dish without cleaning it out every day too. So you don't want your hummingbirds to sit there and have all the dirty water that's going to get bacteria in it. We don't want that to happen at all. So it's a good thing to keep cleaning it out. And your bird feeder right now too. My bird feeder is a very, very busy spot, especially the one for the smaller birds. My goodness sakes, they are out there. They are screaming at me when I take it down every morning to fill it up. They want it filled now. They are horrible. I've got a fly-through feeder for the bigger birds, and they're not quite so vocal, but those little birds certainly are right now at my house. And the ducks, I put a little bit on the ground for the ducks, not enough to feed any one duck, let alone this morning. I think I walked back in the house and the cat is sitting right by the window because there were 8 ducks coming walking up the backyard to see what I had put on the ground, that little tiny bit, half a cup of food. And they'll sit there and they'll clean it all up within a half a second. And then they're quacking all the time. They're funny to watch. But the cat gets great amusement out of that and gets great amusement out of watching my bird feeders. So make sure to fill them every morning just for the cat alone. I'm being very, very gracious for my cat, so he can have all the bird feeders he would love. What else do we have to do? We need to thin the grapes on the vine for bigger and better clusters later on. Mulch, if you could get a blanket of mulch around your plants right now to help keep in that water, that would be nice. No more than 2 inches of mulch, though. You get much more than that, and that just kind of suffocates the plants. So we don't want to do really much more than that. Okay. You might want to think about feeding your summer flowers a slow-release fertilizer like Osmocote. I've got that in all my flowers right now. Or you can use like a Miracle Grow in with the water and just start watering your flowers. It gives them a little jolt, so they'll keep going right now. I have a couple of Boston ferns, and I keep those well watered and fertilized. And wow, by the end of the summer, those things are huge. So they must like it where they are, but yes, you might want to give them a little bit of shot right now with a little liquid fertilizer or some slow release fertilizer. And you have until the 4th of July to pinch back all of your chrysanthemums and your mum plants. They've got buds on them right now. We don't want that because then they'll bloom too early. We really want them to bloom in the fall. So keep pinching them back until the 4th of July. Once we hit the 4th of July week, then it's fine to go to keep them, and then they'll come out at the right time in the fall. That's a good idea. And if you got any standing water in your backyard, I know there was a little rain last night. Prevent the mosquitoes with a couple of BT dunkers in there. We sell the BT mosquito dunks. You can break those things up. You can put a little piece in your bird bath. It won't hurt the birds at all, but it will prevent those mosquito larvae from hatching into mosquitoes. We will be back with the garden show right after this.
Where Holland turns for news and more. 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
All right, that's kind of cool music. I like that. Coming back into the to the garden show. If you've got a question, please give me a call. 616-395-1450. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. People out there, the weeds have taken over gardens. Everybody is complaining about weeds in their garden, and everybody has been overwhelmed with the amount of weeds in their garden. You need to get rid of the weeds in the garden, because otherwise all of your plant's nutrients are just going to feed those weeds. And the weeds are where all the insects and disease fungal hide out. So we need to get rid of those weeds. I know it's a big job, especially if you have a big garden, but get out there and get doing it. One of our guys took those garden weasels and just went around all of his plants with a garden weasel and picked up all of the dead weeds, and then put the preen down. He was trying to get by without putting preen down this year. He decided he can't do that, live without that, so he's doing that. There's a lot of people that I've talked to that, yes, okay, we are going to put preen down, but, and sometimes maybe just do a row or two a day to keep, once you get the row done, then put the preen down and water it in, and then get another row done and then put the preen down and water it in, just so you don't get it. I guess the purslane is a big thing this year. I know you can eat it. There's a lot of things you can eat, but that doesn't mean you need to eat it. My dad loved purslane, and I just thought it was horrible cooked, but I don't remember Mom ever serving it in a salad or anything, but I did not like purslane. That could go. That it wouldn't bother me in the least. I know some people are really into that, but it was not me. So, and I do like my greens, but that was not something I cared for. So, yes, do get your garden weeded. It's way too hot to be out there, so maybe just a little bit at a time. And we have a caller on the line. Good morning. You're on the Garden Show.
Hi, Jan. What do I do with my roses now that have finished blossoming and the buds are blooms were actually dried out? Do I deadhead them? Do I cut them back a little bit, or what?
Definitely deadhead them. Unless you want the rose hips for later on, but I did save those one year and made rose hip tea out of them, but it wasn't all that good. So you're not missing anything.
I don't plan on doing that.
Okay, then just cut them back a little bit. They would benefit from a deep watering and feeding right now also, and maybe some aged compost around their roots would be a great idea right now too. But yeah, definitely do cut them back.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jan.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yep. Bye-bye.
My roses just refuse to quit blooming, so I haven't had that problem yet. They are just taking over. I had a little spot, and I have a little plant of roses. And my goodness, it has crowded everything else out. The rose is a very big bully in my house. So, yeah, I think I really need to cut that thing back this fall. No, I guess I will, but oh my goodness, I don't like doing that. Up, and we do have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Show.
Yes, I have petunias. They're starting to look kind of tired. Now, are those a perennial that I can plant them this fall?
No, they're not a perennial. They are just an annual.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought, but I thought I heard somebody say, "Oh, I'm sorry, my pansies."
Oh, your pansies.
It's pansies instead of petunias.
Oh, yeah, not a problem. I usually can't get my pansies to last through the summer. It does get too hot for them. But if I plant pansies in the fall, they may not look their best in the fall, but I'll tell you, the next spring, they look wonderful.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was you I heard on the radio that said, "Oh, my pansies are coming up." So.
Yes. In the spring, they are just absolutely glorious in the spring.
Oh, okay. Now the ones I have now, can I try to save them, put them in the shade and so?
If you're going to save them, they need to be in the shade.
Okay, and then plant them where I want them because they're in a flower box now.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Okay,
yeah, they need to be in the shade.
I never knew that they were a perennial. So.
Well, they can come back and
sort of, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, our winters aren't that bad anymore, and they seem to come back with extra gusto all of a sudden.
Oh, God, that's amazing because I've got a color that I really, really like. So,
ooh.
Okay, it's a light lavender, so I've never seen that one before. So. But anyway, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good luck. Have fun.
Bye. Okay.
Yeah, my sister keeps her pansies going all summer, but she's got them underneath a shade tree, and they seem to like it there. So, and also the sprinkler hits them every morning, so they do like it there. I do have to. I move them to what is it called? It's a large container is what it is. I move them to the large container in the fall. And they never look wonderful in the fall for me. They're okay, but I'll tell you, and they get covered with snow, and the next spring they come back, and I don't want to plant it. I never have time early spring to plant anything, but they are just incredible. Last year, this last spring, my pansies were, my gosh, they were like 12 inches tall and just nothing but blossoms all over them. Just absolutely beautiful. So they didn't look that nice the fall before, but they certainly did in the spring. So, again, it kind of depends on what the winter does. If we have a really hard winter, they may not come back that quickly, but you can always try. It's a fun thing to do. We'll be coming back right after this message.
I'm Steve Kaith in CBS News. Join me for the CBS World News Roundup, weekday mornings at 8 on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.
And we are back with the Garden Show here on 1450 WHTC, and I'm your host, Jan Meeuwsen, always taking your phone calls. 616-395-1450. 616-395-1450 is the number to call. Boy, I feel like it's just putting this out there. I had book club last night, and I don't know why. I'm always the one that either loves the book and everybody hates it, or I'm the one that hates it and everybody loves it. And I was the one that hated it last night. I guess I didn't hate it, but I thought she tried to do too much, and yeah, I feel like I don't know why I'm always one against the crowd here, But hey, you don't have to be that in at the garden show. We will welcome all. Um, I have to talk about this, and I hate talking about this, but invasive species. The Japanese spotted lanternfly has been found in West Michigan, and of all things, a case of wine. In with the packaging in a case of wine. Now, this is the bug that every bug wants to be. When it's folded up, and it's about half an inch long, I guess, it's kind of brown. But when it opens up its wings, it's tan with black polka dots. It's red with black polka dots. It's got yellow stripes. It's got white stripes. It is like the most beautiful insect ever. And this thing does so much damage. It isn't even funny. If it gets loose in the wine vineyards around here, or the cherry orchards or peach or apple orchards, it can do a lot of damage. So we do need to be on the lookout for it. It is a beautiful looking adult. But what you'll probably see are the little tiny that just hatched. And they're very, I don't think I've ever seen a little hatchling bug. You know, they're only small. They're a quarter to 3/8 of an inch long. They're black with white polka dots. There aren't any other bugs around here that have white polka dots on them. Those are Japanese spotted lanternflies. If you see them, take a picture, note where you have found them, take a good picture of them, kill them all. Then call the Michigan Department of Agriculture. Let them know what you found. You can download the picture to them so they know, and you tell them where you found it. They will be there. Toot sweet. They will be there. You will have a lot of people in your backyard if that's where you found it. So do keep an eye out for these. We do not want these here. You know, they're on the East Coast, and their favorite tree is the tree of heaven. We really don't have a lot of those around here. Thank goodness. They are kind of a weedy tree. They used to plant them along city streets on the East Coast, and so there are still some of them out there. So they love that, but they will very, very quickly go to the apples, grapes, cherries, whatever else they can find. So they can do a lot of destruction with our local economy, agricultural economy. So we do not need these here. So the Michigan Department of Ag does depend on you to be their eyes on the ground to spot this. I thought it was pretty good that they spotted it in the case of wine and with the packaging. But do make sure that you kill it before don't let's let it sit there and lay eggs or do anything like that. And you're going to need to, if there's a bunch of little nymphs, the black and white little nymphs, do see where they're coming from. You might want to kill that also. Maybe they're coming from a tannish spot that the egg mass is in. So you may want to get rid of that too. But do call the Department of Ag. If you're not sure of who to call, please call me at DeBrine's, and we will make sure that the person that needs to know knows about this, because believe me, the state of Michigan is absolutely 100% against getting this thing in the state. We don't want it to get us a toehold here in the state like the emerald ash borer, and then we lose all of our ash trees. We don't want to lose all of our beautiful fruit trees and vineyards. So do keep an eye out for that. And now, how can you help, for invasive species? When you're on a walk in the woods and when you get back to your car, clean off your boots. Don't take anything with you that, clean off the dirt, clean off any insect eggs that might have picked up, clean them off. If you've got your boat in the water and you take it out, clean it off before you ever put that boat in another lake of water, body of water. You don't want to get from one to another. That's really important. And don't, if you've got a pond or something and, you get too many water hyacinths in there and you just take them and you just throw them off into your creek, don't do that. The Department of Ag has had to clean out entire lakes from all the vegetation that you people have thrown out of your ponds that are invasive species, and they just take off. So don't do it. Either just kill it, get rid of it, or, sell it back. Wherever you got it, sell it back, trade it in for something else. Do something, but don't throw it in the lakes or ponds. And again, if a fish gets too big, goldfish gets too big for your pond, don't throw it into the lakes or whatever. I know, yes, it sounds really fun, but don't do it because your goldfish carry bacteria that will kill the game fish in our lakes. So don't do it. Just don't do it. If your fish gets too big, find someone that can take it, or you're going to have to kill it. That's the two things that we've got here. We don't have the third option of just throwing it loose. So don't do it. Okay, I've got to tell you, I will be here Tuesday morning. I don't have any doctor's appointments, thank God. So I will be here at 8:35 with Dan for Garden Party, and then at 10 with Gary Stevens for the for what? Talk of the Town. Yes, the Garden Hour. But the most important part is I will be back here next Saturday morning for the garden show. That is the most important part of being here, because this is the most fun show anyway. But yes, I will be Tuesday morning again, and next Saturday I will be here with the garden show. I will be in the office at DeBrine's a couple afternoons this week, so you can catch me there also. You can always try catch me there. I'm not always there. I've kind of semi-retired now, but yes, you can try catch me there too. 616-772-2316 is their number. So until next week, all I can say is go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from DeBrine Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.